Shalom. Kahalo Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakahak Radash. Shalom and salutations and double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, where I continue to learn this 100% truth from Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, Barakatham. Shalom to the elder bishops out of Connecticut, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, Barakatham, the elders, the prophets, the teachers, and the evangelists also of Great Millstone. Yahabashina Shabbat Barakatham, the water for your sacrifices and your lessons. Salaki, I'm going to throw a little itchy. And last but not least, shalom to the speckled bird, the confused face, the Aki and Aqua, the Akim on the highways and byways, and last but not least, the elect. And you see on my screen the professor, I forgot how you pronounce his name, but he says this is how the U.S. economy will collapse. So let's listen to what he said, because I haven't really heard it yet. And when I seen it, I was like, okay, this will be interesting. And, just through the spirit, I felt that I can use it to bring out some scripture. So I'm going to let it play, and then we're going to move forward.
Today, I want to look at how the global economy will collapse. Specifically, how the U.S. economy will collapse because of this war. Now, the argument I want to make to you today is that financial collapse do not happen accidentally or naturally. It has to be engineered. And this is a very hard concept for us to understand, okay? So in economics, there's something called the boom-bust cycle, which basically states that in capitalism, you have the economy booming, then suddenly, for whatever reason, it collapses, okay? It's called a boom-bust cycle. And the idea is that if you study economics, they teach you that this is just a natural part of capitalism, because in good times, people spend too much money. They become overconfident. And so then they waste a lot of money, and then it collapses. The economy turns bad, and so you have to focus on being more lean and efficient and resilient. So think of, gaining weight, okay? You gain too much weight, and then you feel bad, so then you lose weight. And that's the idea of the boom-bust cycle. The problem, though, is that no one can explain properly how and why suddenly the bubble pops, okay? What is the mechanism or trigger for the collapse? If you study economics, you will never ever know the answer. So we are going to focus on speculation today, okay? So again, the internet knows this, but I've never studied economics. I don't know much about economics, but I'm curious as to why this happens, okay? Why is it that bubbles pop? How do economies rise and fall, okay? So
This is Isaiah 46:9. He just said that he don't know how things are going to collapse, but we don't necessarily know the detail, but we do understand the procedure on how it's going to collapse, and that's because the secrets are given to the prophets, right? And the scriptures tell us to search out and remember things. So this is Isaiah 46:9, and it says, "Remember the former things of old, for I am Yahweh, thy power, and there is none else. I am the power, and there is none like me." So remembering the things of the days of old is to understand that, number one, that Rome is reincarnated as Babylon, and the things that happened to Rome and how it fell and why it fell, which was documented, are going to be the same way and same things that's going to happen to the United States, which is being documented on how it's going to fold as well.
I'm not an expert. I'm not even a professor. Yes, I understand. But what I do is I engage in speculation for fun, for entertainment, okay? So just see this as a fun class where we're going to explore some fun topics that have no scholarly basis, okay? All right? So just keep this in mind, guys. All right, so let's look at very quickly the main explanation for why booms and busts happens. And this is from Andrew Ross Sorkin, who is probably the most influential financial journalist in America. And he wrote a book called 1929, which looks at the stock market collapse of 1929, and he offers a very good explanation as to why it happened. Okay, so Emma, could you read for me, please?
Of course. Lengthy, uninterrupted booms like the one in the 1920s produce a collective delusion. Optimism becomes a drug or a religion or some combination of both. People lose their ability to calculate risk and distinguish between good ideas and bad ones.
Okay, so again, this is a set explanation for why there's a bubble burst, because it's delusional, and then it's like you fly too high, okay? But you're not supposed to fly, so then you fall down to the ground eventually. It's just gravity, okay? The idea of gravity. But what I want to show you today is there's actually another explanation, which is this is all being engineered. There are people behind the scenes who have the power to cause economies to rise and to fall, okay?
This is 2 Ezra 6:22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. And this is the time we're coming in into, and they're going to be afraid for drafting, war. The prophecies are coming, coming out of the scriptures. Violence one against one another. Wrongfully doing as far as stormtroopers taking people out of their homes, blood spilling of much death. All these things are going to make the people afraid. The proxy wars that are happening before the main war happens, all these things make people afraid. Let me get another video real quick.
And let's just the only reason we know a U.S. fighter jet was shot down in Iran is because of Iran news. They was reporting on this. They was showing the pilot ejection seats, the parachutes, the crash sites, everything. That's the only reason the mainstream media in the U.S. is reporting on this, letting the public know. Because if it wasn't for that, they would have kept this shit under the wraps and you wouldn't have knew a damn thing. Listen, man. Trump, you was a goddamn liar and you digging a hole deeper and deeper and deeper for yourself. You said them folks ain't got no missiles or none of that shit. Everything been decimated and y'all done blew up everything and it's nothing over there. How in the fuck do they hit a fighter jet? Let me know this. Now, let's give the United States some kind of credit because they did save one of the pilots. But the other one is still behind enemy lines. And y'all remember what Iran said. If they catch any U.S. soldier on their territory, they will break them down and use them as shark food. That's what they said.
Check this out. Got the throat. This is Ecclesiastes 10 and 16. Woe to thee today. Woe to thee, O land, when thy king is a child, Nero, and thy princes eat in the morning. Blessed art thou, O land, when thy king is the son of nobles, and thy princes eat in due season, for strength and not for drunkenness. Okay, and this is what we're dealing with here, with this goofy Nero 47, just plain face telling lies of any sort. Just he acts like a actor um, who's reading off lines to a comedy movie that was supposed to be getting good ratings. He's he's really playing his part and really being an a hole, man. And the whole world sees that this guy is not the guy that you should take serious. You know what I'm saying? And it's almost like, okay, yeah, we know you lying, so why do we take you serious? You a fool.
Ain't lying yet. Listen, boy, this shit about to get deep, man. This shit about to get deep. And it's already a report saying that a rescue helicopter has been hit too. So I don't know how many casualties that this motherfucker ran now. I guess it's gonna be a long fucking weekend, folks. Because there's no way you gonna get that other pilot out of them. And I ran and put up a reward. Get paid, dead or alive, either way. Boy, look at here, man. This shit here might be the straw to break the camel's back, folks. This might be it. Mr. Dum Dum might send U.S. boots on the ground now. This might be it. They was waiting on some shit like this, man. I'm gonna tell you something, boy. You're gonna have more worse days than better days, folk. This war is not going nowhere. It's only gonna get deeper. Y'all stay up out there and get it out the mud.
All right, let me get another video.
Actually, Judea is a one world government, okay, based on AI surveillance and the mark of the beast. So what will happen is that Israel will use this war to expand its territory, and then what will happen is that capital, technology, will then sort of flow to Israel in order to create the great Judea. So think of companies like NVIDIA, Oracle, Microsoft, Google. Well, they'll probably transfer themselves to Israel because that is where the power will rest. First prediction, of course, is that the U.S. will use ground troops. Because using ground troops will create a national draft. And what does a national draft do? It creates a civil war, right? A lot of young people are going to refuse to fight in this war. And this is going to create protests. Then America will have no choice but to deploy the National Guard. And this will create the recipe for a lot of civil conflict in America. Okay? Another thing that will happen is because you use ground troops, you will lose the war, and then CENTCOM, which is the American military in the Middle East, will then transfer over to Israel. Okay? What's happening in this war is that the economies of the GCC are being destroyed, and that's part of the plan. Okay? Because for Israel to achieve the Greater Israel Project, it needs to absorb the GCC and parts of Turkey and parts of Egypt. Okay? So another way of saying this is that the GCC is basically finished. The intention is to collapse their economies and make them irrelevant. Right? The third thing we can expect is that Turkey will enter this war, and Saudi Arabia actually, will enter the war. Because you want to use this war to weaken opposition to these eschatologies as much as possible. Okay? So Turkey and Saudi Arabia will enter this war, and they will suffer tremendously because of their participation.
All right, this is Proverbs 30 and 21. For three things the earth is disquieted, and for which it cannot bear. For a servant when he reigneth, and a fool when he is filled with meat. For an odious woman when she is married, and a handmaid that is heir to her mistress. There be four things which are little upon the earth, but they are exceeding wise. The ants are people not strong, yet they prepare their meat in the summer. The conies are but a feeble folk, yet make their houses in the rocks. The locusts have no king, yet go they forth, all of them by bands. The spider taketh hold with her hands, and is in kings' palaces. Let me go to 20, verse 21. Proverbs 20, verse 21, and it reads, An inheritance may be gotten hastily at the beginning, but the end thereof shall not be blessed. So this is Esau, and he is not going to be blessed. He is going to be destroyed for what he's doing. But the Most High set it up that he will be destroyed, and that's just the way it's going to be. Proverbs 28 and 20. A faithful man shall abound with blessings, but he that maketh haste to be rich shall not be innocent. And that's this devil, man. And Yahweh Shai is going to come back and destroy this devil. It has to happen. Let me let him finish real quick.
All right. Again, the Alexic Mosque will be destroyed. Okay? And then you have the rise of Persia. Okay? The rise of Persia. Why is this important? Because you need the Islamic world to unite against Israel for the end of days. Right? So you don't mind if actually Iran wins
We are in the end of days now.
this war, because by winning this war, Iran will activate its Persian identity. And this is important for eschatology because in the war of Gog and Magog, people are interpreting Gog and Magog, which will march against Israel. Actually, Judaica is a one world government.
Okay, so Salaki, this is oh boy, this is Isaiah 63 and 18, and it reads, "The people of thy holiness have possessed it but a little while." So we were in rulership for only a little while, or over the other nations for only a little while. When King David and King Solomon ruled, our adversaries have trodden down thy sanctuary. They have destroyed it spiritually and physically, and that's throughout the decades of time. We are thine, thou never bearest rule over them. They were not called by thy name. So even though they are in a position of ruler, is coming to an end because they're not to receive the blessing. So these predictions that are happening, they're good predictions because it's prophecy, and it's only prophecy because it's for the controversy of Zion. Okay. And we're going to possess the land, and we're going to take back everything that was taken from us by Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Just because he wanted it to be. What was that scripture I wanted? Isaiah 34 and 8. For it is the day of Yahweh's vengeance, which we are coming closely upon to, and the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion. So all these things that are happening while the professor and everybody else are saying and doing the things that they're doing, and the podcasts are talking crazy, and the Edomites are crashing out, and they're trying to figure out why, is because of the controversy of Zion. Okay? All this is for us, for Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai through prophecy, to send Yahweh Shai to free us, to get us up out of here, because it's that time. So I'll be right to say you edify with that quick lesson, man. I didn't have much, but I just wanted to bring that out real quick. So with that, I'm going to say, call Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakahak Radash, Shalom, salutations again, and double honors to the elder apostle GMS on down, and Shalom to the elect, Shalom.